Chapter 4. Research Can Be Fun? At Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad seminars, where I sometimes speak, attendees always ask me, how do I find good investment property? This has to be the most commonly asked question, and for good reason. There is a needle in a haystack sort of quality to this whole endeavor, or at least it seems that way, particularly if you've never done it before. Do you look in the newspaper, grab sales sheets from real estate offices, check out the internet, drive around? The whole thing seems so haphazard. Truth be told, there is a lot of information out there about property and a lot of ways to get that information. Maybe too many ways. Knowing which resources are valuable and knowing how to access them can save you time and frustration. In this chapter, I'll reveal a research strategy that you simply cannot do without. By walking you through my experience of buying a property in a new market I knew nothing about, you'll see how this research method works and what you can gain from it. There's no real trick to this at all. It's just having fun, being open to the information that's available about your market, knowing where to look, and committing yourself to do it. Researching a market can be a lot like doing the preliminary research for a college paper. Maybe you remember the feeling of stepping into the library for the first time. Looking around at all the books, magazines, computer databases, and microfilm, if you're as old as me, was overwhelming. You knew the information you were looking for was in there somewhere. The problem was finding it and making sense out of it. Your first paper was always the hardest. But once you got familiar with the best sources in the library, the next papers got easier and easier. Well, at least that was what I was told. My college professors would be proud of me today because I did eventually learn how to do research, and I learned how to make it really fun. We have a great time researching markets and properties because research to me is nothing more than using the resources around you to gain information and insight into a particular subject. In this business, that means talking to people, touring an area, taking in the sights, even within your own town. Kind of sounds like a purposeful, tax-deductible vacation, doesn't it? Well, it can be, so let's get the party started. The research techniques described in this chapter will help you in 3 ways. First, they will give you a snapshot of the various markets and submarkets within your city or town. The more diligent you are about doing the research, the more vivid the picture will be. And in the chapters ahead, you'll see why a very vivid picture here will save you time and money later. Second, this research will show you how the market will influence your property investment. And third, you actually may be lucky enough to find property leads during the research phase, but don't count on it. The most important fruit from your efforts is the picture of the market. The properties will come later. I group the research I do into 3 easy-to-define and easily understood categories. The descriptions for each are in the sections that follow. Level 1 Research. Level 1 research is what I call the very preliminary stuff. To do it, you don't even need to leave your house. This is research you do before you even set foot on a property. Or in the case of the true story of our acquisition of the waterfront property in Portland, Oregon, before we even set foot in the town. You should know that we didn't just pick Portland out of a hat. Before we settled on Portland, our goal was to do Level 1 research on all the major markets in the western United States. It was time to expand our company's reach, and the question was where to go. One of the first things we did was look at all the newspapers and business journal newspapers in every major western city via the internet. We followed the online hyperlinks to every interesting lead. For example, we'd type in a city like Denver into a search engine, and up would pop a story about population growth. We'd follow it. Then as part of that story, there'd be a link about school funding. We'd follow it. What we found was very interesting, particularly in Portland. First, we discovered that the city has an urban growth boundary that we felt would limit the supply of rental property in the future. That's a good thing. Next, we found that the city of Portland was progressive in their downtown planning and progressive in terms of transportation with their light rail, bus system, taxi system, streetcar system, and even plans for a future water taxi on the Willamette River. We also found that living and working downtown was in high demand, and that the downtown employment picture was favorable. We were beginning to get our picture of the market. It was looking good. Then we started to uncover some of the city's limitations. On the downside, we found statewide unemployment was leading the country with a whopping 8.1%. This was an important finding, because when we saw that statewide number compared to unemployment in downtown Portland, we knew for us the only opportunity was downtown or possibly a few other suburban bright spots. Furthermore, downtown was mostly all built out and had even greater supply restrictions than the rest of the metro area. Our job was not going to be easy. We found out this information in less than a day, all from my desk in Phoenix, Arizona. Although there were some negatives about the market, overall we were pleasantly surprised and impressed with Portland. It was nothing like we expected it to be. We thought it would be a place with major corporate layoffs, a place plagued by downturns in the logging industry and agriculture, and one that was especially hard hit by other economic woes, including declines in the stock market and the after effects of the 9/11 tragedy, which had happened just 4 months earlier. Our preconception of the area was based on the broad brushstrokes painted by the media, and boy, were we wrong. We saw Portland as a progressive city that was concerned about the quality of life and that had long-term plans for building a wonderful community for today and tomorrow. We also found that downtown Portland was one of the least affordable places to live in the Northwest. Portland was a mixed bag, but the negatives didn't scare us. In real estate, you've heard the saying, buy low and sell high. In most cases, the opportunities to buy low are when the economy is down and the press is making a living by saying bad things about you. That was Portland. The point here is not to sell you on Portland, but to tell you that we would have never known any of this unless we decided to do level 1 research in that area. We would have never found out that downtown Portland was a market with good employment, that it was progressive and forward-thinking, and that it had a very high cost of home ownership, and that it was in high demand. This is all good news for rental property investment, contrary to the picture the media painted. We knew it was worthy of a site visit. Level 2 research. In Portland, we were a couple of desert dwellers from Arizona who came armed with information but hadn't seen rain in months, let alone trees that actually bear leaves. We were as green as the Portland landscape. We plunked right into this market knowing no one. We were prepared, however, to conduct level 2 research once we got there to develop a team that would help us understand the market and maybe even lead us to a property. Research plays an important role in establishing yourself within the market and finding the people who will help you make things happen. Level 2 research is about meeting face to face, and we didn't waste time. Even before we arrived, we had made phone calls to set up meetings with property managers, commercial brokers, commercial lenders, city officials, and business people like the publisher of the local apartment guide. When we arrived, we met with each of them. First of all, they were amazed at how much we knew about the area and the depth of our knowledge. They affirmed the things we presumed to be true and set us straight on the assumptions that were off base. For instance, they confirmed our assumption that the limited supply of housing in downtown Portland was greater than in any other area of the city. They confirmed that there was a high demand to live and work in the city. They confirmed that the downtown area was not only a vibrant, progressive community for those who lived there, but that it was also a draw for people who lived elsewhere through its Saturday markets, jazz festivals, holiday events, convention center, rose garden, parades, and more. It was a true city center. We didn't get everything right during our Level 1 research, though. The people we met with surprised us by painting a gloomier picture of the outlying suburban areas than we had painted ourselves. There was more overbuilding than we had assumed, and there was more available land than we had assumed. Nike and Intel had a very large presence there, without much other employment of any size. The overall picture was clearly a risky one. It was during this time that we really started narrowing in on our submarket. In any economic downturn, it's always smart to be in the market that will turn positive first. That's true of anything in business, whether it's the stock market, a business sector, or real estate. So we looked at several submarkets and determined that downtown Portland was the strongest at this point and would be the first to rebound based on the simple economics of supply and demand, its diversified employment base, and a lack of affordable housing. We learned that as the economy rebounded, the downtown market would be the area that rebounded first. While we were meeting with all of our contacts, we clearly communicated our goal to buy a 200-plus unit apartment community and asked them a variety of questions like who were their favorite property management people, what lawyer they recommended for legal work, if they knew of any good accountants. We asked for recommendations for every team member we listed in that last chapter. By the time we left 2 days later, we had a vivid picture of the market, and we had narrowed our search to a viable submarket. We had some good leads for our team, and we were told of several properties that were possibilities. We also took in the sights, ate wonderful dinners, and generally enjoyed our time in Portland. Level 3 research. When we returned to Arizona, we not only vividly remembered what green trees looked like, we knew Portland was an investment opportunity. But we still needed a bit more information to feel good about making a move there. That's where Level 3 research came into play. We first called every team referral and asked them all the same questions we asked of our initial contacts in Portland. Not only did they give us their opinion and insights, they pointed us in the direction of numerous websites, analyst newsletters, economic development offices, city government contacts, and other Portland business people who could add the finishing touches to our picture of Portland and could keep us on top of happenings in the area for as long as necessary. Through this exercise, we started to discover who should be on our team. We signed up for free online newsletters, got on the mailing lists and email lists of real estate agents, commercial brokers, loan officers, and other professionals helpful to us. We are forever in the know and hooked into the network. No longer do we have to seek out all the information. A lot of it comes automatically to us. During this whole process, we felt like detectives following up on leads and putting the evidence together to arrive at a conclusion. By involving others, we were able to maintain our objectivity and keep our perspective. All this took was some time on our part. The biggest out-of-pocket costs were our economy seats on Alaska Airlines and one night at Fifth Avenue Suites. We're talking shoestring. And best of all, we paid nothing for the information we received during the process. And on top of it all, it was a good time. Why wouldn't you do this? Ultimately, our vision of an apartment community evolved into a condominium conversion project. The research we did took our vision of an ordinary project and made it extraordinary. We were able to redevelop an area, deliver exactly what the area needed, and give the city and the people what they wanted. I don't buy anything without researching the market first. Even in Phoenix, which is a market I know extremely well, I do research before I buy anything. Things change. Markets and submarkets go in and out of favor. Big projects like highways change the patterns and flow of a city. There's always something. Today, thanks to the internet, research is easy and takes virtually no time. Everything is online and available. For as difficult as researching that first college term paper was, this is a breeze, and there's never been more writing on getting an A. Chapter 4 Action Steps. Become familiar with the resources available online like newspapers, business trade publications, government websites, and trade organizations. Realize that government officials and staff people work for you, and that meeting with you is a part of their job. Test your research abilities. See how much information you can find out about your own hometown, online, through face-to-face meetings, and through in-depth follow-up phone calls.
The Chapter 4 focuses on the paramount importance of research in real estate investment, addressing the common query of finding good investment properties. The author highlights the daunting nature of this quest for newcomers and emphasizes the multitude of available resources and methods. To alleviate confusion, the chapter unveils an indispensable research strategy through a first-hand account of purchasing property in an unfamiliar market. The author analogizes market research to the initial steps in crafting a college paper, recalling the overwhelming yet crucial nature of delving into a library for information. Drawing from personal experience, they stress the significance of navigating available resources to understand and interpret market data effectively. The approach to research is portrayed as an enjoyable process involving interaction, exploration, and the collection of valuable insights. The outlined research techniques promise to serve three primary purposes. Firstly, they offer a comprehensive overview of various markets and submarkets within a city or town, emphasizing that thorough research yields a clearer, more detailed understanding. Secondly, the research illuminates the influence of the market on property investment decisions. Lastly, while not guaranteed, the research phase might yield potential property leads, though the primary focus remains on gaining a comprehensive understanding of the market landscape. The author presents a structured approach to research, categorizing it into three easily comprehensible sections. These categories are further elaborated in subsequent sections of the chapter, providing a framework for efficient and insightful market exploration. Author details the importance of Level 1 research in evaluating potential real estate markets. This preliminary research phase involves extensive online investigation before physically visiting a property or location. The authors illustrate their process by recounting their exploration of Portland, Oregon, highlighting key findings and impressions. Before physically exploring Portland, they conducted comprehensive online research on various Western U.S. markets. They utilized newspapers, business journals, and online sources to gather information. Their discoveries about Portland were both surprising and enlightening. The authors detail their experience conducting Level 2 research in the Portland real estate market. As newcomers to the area, they recognize the importance of thorough research and establishing connections within the market. Their proactive approach involved meeting face-to-face with various professionals, including property managers, brokers, lenders, city officials, and local business figures. Their prior knowledge impressed these contacts, validating some assumptions while correcting others. For instance, they confirmed the high demand for downtown housing, its vibrant community, and its attractiveness for both residents and visitors due to cultural events and amenities. However, their Level 1 research had inaccuracies. Suburban areas were less promising than anticipated due to overbuilding and limited employment opportunities beyond major corporations like Nike and Intel. Recognizing the importance of choosing the right submarket, they focused on downtown Portland due to its potential for early economic rebound. Through these meetings, they effectively communicated their goal of acquiring a large apartment community and gathered recommendations for their real estate team. By the end of their visit, they had a clearer understanding of the market, identified a viable submarket, gathered leads for their team, and learned about potential properties. Beyond business, they also enjoyed the city's offerings. They found several positive aspects. Portland had an urban growth boundary that would limit future rental property supply, a progressive downtown planning, a strong transportation system, high demand for downtown living, and employment opportunities. However, they also uncovered limitations such as high statewide unemployment and downtown's limited availability for development. Despite some negatives, they were pleasantly surprised by Portland's progressive nature, its emphasis on quality of life, and its long-term development plans. Contrary to media portrayals, they found it to be a city with potential for rental property investment due to its employment opportunities, forward-thinking approach, high home ownership costs, and market demand. Their takeaway emphasized the significance of Level 1 research. They stressed that without this preliminary investigation, they would have missed crucial insights that contradicted the media's portrayal. Ultimately, they deemed Portland worthy of an in-person visit, highlighting the necessity of comprehensive research before committing to real estate investments. The chapter highlights the importance of thorough research in making informed investment decisions. The author shares their experience of conducting Level 3 research to assess an investment opportunity in Portland. Initially intrigued by the potential of the area, they sought further information beyond their initial contacts. Level 3 research involved reaching out to various local teams and stakeholders to gather opinions, insights, and access to resources such as websites, newsletters, and contacts in economic development offices. By engaging with these sources and expanding their network, the author and their team gained comprehensive knowledge about the area and identified key individuals to include in their investment team. They utilized free online resources, subscribed to newsletters, and connected with professionals in the real estate industry, ensuring they remained well-informed and connected to the market. Despite the time investment and minimal expenses incurred for travel and accommodation, the wealth of information obtained was invaluable and cost-effective. The author emphasizes the importance of maintaining objectivity throughout the research process by involving others, highlighting the evolution of their initial vision from an apartment community to a successful condominium conversion project. They stress the necessity of continual market research, even in familiar markets like Phoenix, due to the ever-changing nature of real estate dynamics, market trends, and city developments. With the ease of access to information through the internet, the author encourages thorough research, highlighting its significance in making informed investment decisions. They conclude by emphasizing that in today's digital era, comprehensive research is readily available and crucial for success in real estate investing. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Part 5 of the series is coming soon.